Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the new K2 Antidote. This board features good old-fashioned traditional camber, so from contact point to contact point you've got that arc of traditional camber. That's where all your load, pop, snap, and drive is going to come from. This board is available in 145, 148, 151, 154, 157, 162, 158 wide, 161 wide, and 163 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that had 3 to 5 inches of heavy wet pow. There was crust, chop, chunder, leftover pow, and like sticky snow in spots, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in just past the middle of the road all mountain free ride. Now what you do get is a little more flex out in the tip and the tail, kind of out by the contact points. You notice that it's got just a little bit more flex, and then it stiffens up through the middle to the center of the board. Now the torsional flex is there, and it kind of matches up to the overall flex of this board. It's very reactive. You notice that when you twist it, it wants to rebound and snap, so be aware of that. And when it comes to the stability of the board, yeah, okay, on a groomer, sure, you're gonna get some chatter out in the nose. We all know that. But then it hits that recessed 3D shaping, and it actually pushes the energy back out more towards the edge. You get a little bit of it underfoot, and you're gonna feel it, but that's nothing to worry about. Now, when you're charging through really rutted out terrain, if you're a little bit more laid back, this kind of just cruises and planes over the top of everything. But if you're really pushing it and you hit something hard, you're gonna get a body jarring hit and you might get bucked. What's cool again is that recessed 3D shape helps drive that energy back out to the edge instead of straight back underfoot. So this helps reduce foot fatigue, which means you're gonna be able to ride a little bit longer. This board is fairly stable for what it actually is. With this board having traditional camber, you have to load it up to get it to pop. But even with you loading it up, it still has a skate-like feel to it. So when you do engage it, you don't have to be like overly calculated with how you're gonna pop and boost off a side hit, cat track, gap, roller, or anything like that. You can just launch and know you're gonna get up in the air. It takes more effort than you think to butter this board, and partially that is due to the traditional camber as well as the flex and how much carbon this board has. There is a ton of carbon. You see it in the top sheet when you actually look at it. So expect it to be really lively and have a ton of rebound. But what you want to do is aim for the contact points in the tip and the tail. Now the cool thing is you do have the 3D base contour going in there, so you have a slight 3D shaping at the contact point, so you don't have as much hook there when you're getting sideways and playing around on firmer snow. Now realistically, if you're going to be buttering with this thing, you're going to be doing it in fresh snow. I know it, you know it, that's what this board's for. So if you're going on the tail, it's high speed wheelies. If you're pushing into the nose, you really got to aim for that sweet spot. Press hard, use a little bit of speed, find some steep and deep snow, you're going to be fine. If you're on more flat stuff, expect it to kind of be a little bit tougher. It's going to fight you. It's going to want to set itself down. But if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't have a problem with it. This board has a fast and fluid edge-to-edge power transfer. So getting from edge to edge, you notice that it's very quick. Now when it's on edge, it grips and it rips. You do lose a tiny bit of the contact out at the tip and the tail, and with it being traditional camber, you're going to notice that just due to the 3D shaping. So on really firm snow, you might wonder why it's not gripping out at the tip as you initiate the turn so much. Don't really worry about that too much because you still end up with about 3/4 of the contact point still gripping. And when it is on edge and you drive your knee hard into the center of the board to get that power, you feel that energy transfer out to the tail and it apexes that carve. This board can lay a trench when you absolutely need it to. For the most part, you're going to be doing big swoopy carves with it and just kind of ankle steering to drive that apex of it, but you're not going to have to worry about it. Overall, this board can turn, and it lets you know that it can turn. Who's this board for? The pow charging, pillow popping, hard carving, all mountain freeride guy. So the Antidote is new for this year, and it basically replaces the Manifest Team, a board I personally loved last year. I'm kind of upset that it's gone, but I'm also kind of happy to see the progression of where they're going with it. You do get 3D shaping in both the top sheet and the base of this board, and that base 3D helps with funneling POW out to the side. So it makes it a little bit faster when you're in flat POW because it's funneling it out. You don't have that contact point from the traditional camber digging in and biting as hard to slow you down. This board is really lively. It's super snappy. It pops when you need it to, but without having an overly hard engagement on it. By and large, I really do enjoy this board. It's just, it was a little stiffer than what I personally would have liked just due to the carbon layup in it. But that's why they have the Passport without the 3D shaping, and I'll have a review of that board. Overall, I think it makes sense that the Manifest team has kind of just moved on and split into two different boards with this and the Passport. Comparable boards: the Battalion Goliath, the Nitro Dropout, the Nidecker Beta APX. Binding recommendations: the K2 Lean AT, the Nitro Team, the Battalion Astro. This has been my review of the K2 Antidote. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing around here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.